Okay. We can will be attending the not only attending oh perfect. I think they wait, so I just wanted to make sure that
Okay, shall we? Welcome to our second panel discussion for the day. Now about Morocco, the new investment destination for the automotive industry. And we're having a completely virtual panel this morning from Morocco. And therefore, I would like to hand over to Andreas Wenzel, the CEO of the German Moroccan Chamber of Commerce and Industry, to do the introductions and ask him whether he can hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you. Thank you very much and good morning from Casablanca, dear Konstantin Zech. Thank you very much for the introduction and thank you very much for the cooperation. My name is Andreas Wenzel. I'm the CEO of the German Chamber of Commerce and Industry here in Morocco, and I would like to share with you, together with a very interesting and inspiring panel, some insights into the new investment destination for the automotive industry in North Africa, Morocco. So we have with us Jan Freeb from GIZ, because apparently there is a strong cooperation between GIZ, the Special Initiative Jobs, and AHK Morocco, also to promoting German investment engagement in the Moroccan automotive sector. And Mr. Freeb will also quickly do a presentation shortly after my introduction. We do have with us Maximilian Behring from ITCL. ITCL did a very interesting study on behalf of the BMZ, the German Federal Ministry of Economic Cooperation and Development, on the automotive sector in Morocco. And thereafter, we will have a panel discussion with three very interesting company representatives, two newcomers, two German investors in Morocco who invested only like this year, last year, into the Moroccan automotive industry. I'm very glad to see you, Friedemann Färber, the group CEO of the Stahlschmidt Cable Systems Group in Bad Berleburg. And Usama Hafsi, you're currently in Casablanca, the general manager for FEV Engineering from Aachen. And last but not least, the company which is active in Morocco for more than 20 years in the automotive sector, the chief operation officers of Sumitomo Bordnetze in Tanger, Adil Semrich. Also welcome to you. Thank you very much for participating. And with this quick introduction from my side, from Casablanca, I would like to hand over to Jan Freeb from GIZ. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Can you hear me? Yes, I think. Yeah, dear ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, it's a pleasure for me to give you a short and hopefully only just short insight about the importance and we do see from a development cooperation as GIZ by cooperating with the private sector. First of all, we do know that we have common interests. As a development cooperation, we are seeking to provide better, for example, better education for people. And we do know quite easily that the private sector is looking for better educated, for better skilled staff. Secondly, we do know that we have different expertise that can make joint efforts, joint projects more valuable. So we do know a lot about the technical knowledge private companies have, the appetite for investments, the appetite for opening new markets and get a bigger market share in their respective fields of work. And as a GIZ, we have quite a lot of working experience in different countries, in projects. We have quite good networks to the local governments. Yeah, and that's only two reasons why GIZ is working for more than 20 years, and we are commissioned by the German government. We are expanding our offers for the cooperation with the private sector. We have been working together in public-private partnerships. We are fostering public-private dialogues. We're setting up networks between companies, between European international companies with companies in the partnering countries. And as Mr. Wenzel was mentioning, one of the latest activities within the private sector corporation, the responsible Ministry for Economic Cooperation and Development, a package of measures to European and African companies in investment activities in order to have a huge impact on employment, especially in African countries. The special initiative, called Special Initiative on Training and Job Creation, offers through several projects. It's a bunch of projects and institutions working on this special initiative. We do offer advice, contacts, financial support to overcome existing investment barriers. Morocco is one of the 8 countries of this special initiative where GIZ is active. And what are we doing there? For example, we have been working together with IFMA, that's the l'Institut de Formation aux Métiers de l'Industrie Automobile. I hope my French is fine enough, in Kenitra, where we were supplying hardware for the training institute. All this to address the specific needs of the automotive suppliers that are located in the industrial zone. And currently we are happy already to see that we have a 90% direct takeover or placements for the trained people in the companies active there. A second activity is we call it a startup financing for the construction and production of a car made in Morocco, in Ain Aouda, where we, together with the Moroccan government and dedicated private sector companies, we are aiming to create hundreds of new jobs in the next couple of years and integrate especially Moroccan suppliers in the whole process chain. So for us, as you can see, there are a lot of opportunities in and for Morocco, as well as for private companies interested in investing in a country in Northern Africa. And so I will stop here and I hand back to Mr. Wenzel from the Chamber of Commerce. And I'm keen to hear and learn more about the experience you have already made in your adventure in Morocco. Thanks a lot.
Thank you very much for your introduction, Jan Freeb, and for enlightening us a bit on the role of GIZ and the activities of GIZ in cooperation with the private sector in Morocco. And also one such initiative and one such pillar stone also on behalf of the BMZ is the cooperation with IDCL. We look forward to seeing your presentation, Maximilian Behring, on the findings of the study you did on the Moroccan automotive sector. Maximilian Behring, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. Then let me quick share my screen. Does everyone can see my screen?
Yeah, it's working. Thank you.
Okay, perfect. Then thank you very much for the introduction and the opportunity to present our results within this conference. First, we conducted a component and supplier analysis with focus on 3 different focus countries. It was Ethiopia, Ghana, and Morocco. And today I would like to present you, give you a brief summary for our results for Morocco. But first, give me a short introduction where our project is located. It's mainly we have seen in the PAMA workshops of the Pan-African Mobility Alliance that there's a high need to get deeper insights within the potential countries, where we from the ITCL focused on the 3 mentioned countries to give first insight about the located industries within the countries, potential components that can be sourced from them, and also to look at if there are already potential suppliers, where I later present some we find from Morocco. First, and let me start with the first introduction to Morocco. And in the first part, we looked in every country how is the infrastructure, the logistical way, the road systems, rail infrastructure, and also looked at the energy and ICT infrastructure. We looked at industrial parks, the major industries within the countries. And there we have seen for Morocco that's it's the most established country from the three focus one, where we've seen it's already well established automotive industry with mainly French OEMs located within Morocco. We have seen tier one suppliers, many initiatives also from the political side to support industry parks and regions, and also looked at the infrastructure, which was a well established road system and near better connection to Europe. Based on this results, we followed a three-way approach where for Morocco we focused on the first two pillars. The first one was to look at the automotive industry, like I already mentioned, that we have seen that there are tier one suppliers present in Morocco, but most of the tier two suppliers still have their production sites in Europe, and these components are then imported to Morocco. So there is one approach we followed. It's to find suitable tier two suppliers to which we can locate the production sites within Morocco. A second approach was to look what are other industries which have a potential to be integrated in automotive value chains. And there are two main industries to be mentioned, is one of the aviation industry and the other the electronics industry within Morocco. And from the aviation industries, we have seen a potential because in currently facing uncertainties due to Corona and all the high technical expertise and quality level, we have seen potential that they make and also produce components for the automotive OEMs. Here, like I talked, one approach we followed was to look at tier one and tier two suppliers and to develop a possible future scenario where we've seen how much of the value-added actions could be transferred to Morocco. And there we also have the opportunities to talk to tier one and tier two suppliers. And there's a high potential given that also tier two suppliers produce components within Morocco and supply the parts to tier one. And then we have the potential to either export the components back to Europe or use them in the local production. The possible approach we developed after our different interviews was, for instance, with a focus on the coating industries. We had the potential to talk to the main and tier one supplier and have the result is given that there are already also potential local suppliers given within Morocco, and that's a potential to transfer 20 to 30% of value-added actions to Morocco. But there's a problem that they currently don't reach critical mass to establish local production, but they have seen the potential when Morocco reached the goal of production of 1 million cars per year. So they may see the potential to shift this production to Morocco. Second approach I would like to highlight was regarding the wiring harness industry, where we also had the opportunity to talk to tier one suppliers and find out that their main tier two suppliers are still located in Europe, but already some of the tier two suppliers like Coffee Cup or Tyco are already established in Morocco, and they have also seen the potential to shift more value-added actions to Morocco. Here, from all the positive aspects we have seen, with the left side with strengths and opportunities, we also have identified some weakness and threats, which first have to be tackled to facilitate production within Morocco. One was that, like I already talked about, limited domestic demand for cars. That's one weakness we identified. Also, other part was the lack of high skilled labor force. where we seen that there's a gap mainly between the current labor force and the need of the industry. Yeah, so what we identified as next steps. First, we have seen or highlighted 4 potential components that may can produce within Morocco. The ones we had already talked about the coating, wiring harnesses, but also there's a potential given to produce seat covers or headliners, mainly because of the already well-established textile industry within Morocco. And on the right side, you've seen some vision we have developed during the project. We've seen that the potential given to product or to also establish Tier 2 suppliers within Ghana or Ethiopia, and then export them to Morocco to further manufacture the components and also to assemble cars with them, and then had the opportunity to export them to Europe. And also based on these results and also from the talked weakness and threats, we have seen that there's a need to start in-depth analysis with the promising firms, optimal together with the automotive industry, to look at, okay, what is the actual demand of the automotive industry and how they can help to further develop the Tier 2 suppliers within Morocco. Yeah. Thank you very much. That was a brief summary from our results.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Maximilian Behring, for sharing the results of your study. Before we start into the panel discussion with the 3 company representatives, let me quickly allow to also share a presentation from my side to put a bit in perspective what Maximilian Behring said with regards to the study that they undertook. I hope you can see my presentation. The Moroccan automotive industry, Maximilian Behring mentioned it already. I think it's interesting to know that Morocco is already the 2nd automotive producer in Africa. And to our assessment, it's only a matter of time until Morocco will also overtake South Africa to become the 1st automotive producer on the African continent. 60% of the car components are already available on the Moroccan markets. However, the government wants to increase the local integration rate to 80%. So there is indeed also, seeing the incentives that exist, an opportunity, like Maximilian Behring already mentioned, to continue to produce as Tier 1, Tier 2 suppliers different items for the automotive industries. It's interesting to know that also from a German automotive supplier perspective in Morocco, 90% of products are exported. That means the Moroccan automotive industry, German automotive suppliers in Morocco, are fully integrated into European value chains. We spoke about advantages already, so just as an overview, yes, the proximity to Europe, the qualitative infrastructure, the improving qualification of skilled labor, low labor costs, existing investment incentives, and the industrial acceleration zones are advantages on the Moroccan automotive or for the Moroccan automotive industries. Looking at the infrastructure, I think one needs to acknowledge that the quality of infrastructure in Morocco is on a European level. We do have different free zones, the Tangier Automotive City and the Atlantic Free Zone in Kenitra, where automotive manufacturers are actually producing very well connected to highways, to harbors, and with a very high quality of a logistics setup in the country. Jan Fred and also obviously Maximilian Behring spoke about German cooperation, and yes, indeed, there is a strong cooperation between the private sector and GIZ, BMZ on vocational training to support the development of vocational training programs for companies to be able to actually satisfy the needs that they have in terms of human resources to continue to invest and to grow. Therefore, also the German Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Morocco established an automotive working committee. And already seeing the logos presented here, you get a first impression on the not only number of German companies present in the automotive sector in Morocco in different fields, but also the quality that exists. And we are very happy to have 3 of them with us today. Quickly, some perspectives. Post-COVID-19, we do think that onshoring, nearshoring of European automotive companies in order to shorten the supply chain will continue to be a very interesting topic for Morocco, and Morocco will be able to benefit from certain trends in this direction. Morocco is continuing to increase the production capacity of cars. With regards to a Fitch rating studies, there's an average sales growth also predicted of 17.5% between 2020 and 2025. With all these investments and development comes an increase in Industry 4.0 processes within suppliers and investments in research and development. We will speak about this also with FAVR Engineering with Usama Hafsi later today. And already mentioned as well, obviously, hydrogen power to X project. They give an interesting perspective also into the development of the Moroccan automotive industry. Do not hesitate to contact us at the German Chamber if you do have any more questions. We are happy to assist you in establishing your presence here in Morocco. With this short introduction, I would like to go back to I just need to see, yeah. I want to start the discussion with our company representatives, because I think that's apparently the most interesting part of kind of like every business event, because apparently the experiences made in real life are much more convincing of whatever GI said or ourselves at the German Chamber may be able to present to you. So I want to start with you, Adil Semrich. You are in Tanger. You are based in the Tanger Free Zone, the Chief Operation Officer of Sumitomo Bordnetze. I've already mentioned your company is present in Morocco for many years now, and we would be happy to learn from you what is actually your field of activity. Could you enlighten us a bit about your clients, your products, and what kind of experiences did you make in Morocco since you've established the company many years ago? Adil, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Andreas. Thank you, Maximilian. Also, Fred, for your introduction. It was really interesting to see, let's say, our country from perspective from you. What I can say first, that I confirm all what you said. I mean, this is right to all what we have seen. I will only, let's say, give you what we are doing, and for me also what are the opportunities. Coming back, my company, Sumitomo, is ABN, Sumitomo Electric Bordnetze. Our headquarters actually is in Wolfsburg. This company was first owned by Volkswagen and Siemens, joint venture, and was sold in 2006 to Sumitomo. But our, let's say, headquarters and also part, we are still considered as German company. Even our mother company now is in Japan. Why? Because our customer today is still Volkswagen Group with all the brands. Volkswagen, Audi, Porsche, Skoda, Seat, Bentley, and so on and so on. Our journey started, as I said, in 2000. It was a small company at that time, and year by year, our company win more and more projects and also more complicated products. Today, we are producing a harness, electrical harness for the cars. We are tier 1. We are delivering different countries in Europe, Portugal, Republic Czech, Germany, and also some other destination in Europe, in east of Europe. Our main product is harness, but it's important to say that it's a KSK, it's Kabel Specific Kunde. Means that each harness we are producing, it's a single harness for one single buyer who ordered it over the world. And we are able to deliver in just in time from Morocco over, let's say, Europe, but mainly in the beginning was Iberic Peninsula, means Spain and Portugal, but now we are able to deliver also Germany with this specific cable. We are talking about production. Today we are already producing 1,500 cars, means set of product for cars. And we are glad to present that we are delivering and we have 100% delivery, let's say, stable situation since years. Even with Corona, we could, let's say, absorb all the fluctuation we had from our customer, and we never had any issue to deliver our different, let's say, customers in Europe, and the situation is stable. I have to highlight also that our company here in Morocco is one of the best results operational in our group, including East of Europe, North Africa, and also in South of America. Means that in terms of operation, we are able today to achieve the best results in terms of global operation, means quality, efficiency, productivity, labor, let's say cost, and so on. And we are also the most profitable for our group. To discuss also what we are, let's say, planning to do, actually, to give also one important information, we was nominated since 6 months as the technical competence center for our group. First, our target is to cover Morocco, but in the next 3 years, we will be competence center for all EMEA, North Africa, in Middle East, and also European country. And let's say the background of this competence center is to transfer the know-how from Japan, because they are in advance in some part of the process, to let's say transfer this know-how from Japan and duplicate it for all our business units present in Europe. Also, we will be responsible to develop process from Morocco, and this is also showing what are our ability. It's not only producing with low labor cost, but today we are able also to develop and even be in advance in terms of technology compared to our sister company. Another point that we are talking today, we are 3,500 roughly. We had like 500 reduction due to Corona. But last month, as I announced, Andreas, we win a project for 4,500 new jobs for a project in Germany with also high level, let's say, product. It's not a product, let's say, where we can make a stop. No, it's again KSK with high level of commitment in terms of delivery. And Volkswagen, we are glad that Volkswagen give us this chance to have this project here in Morocco. To give you also small idea about our competitivity, we are also able to compare ourselves with, we are doing each time benchmark to see where we are really strong. And today, our competitivity compared to, especially East of Europe, we are talking about labor cost. We are today globally most competitive destination for producing our product here in Morocco. For sure, there is the small countries where the labor cost is low, but as you said, Andreas, and also in this business, we could not only consider labor cost, we should consider the full pictures with all elements, with supply chain, with infrastructure, with authority, collaboration, with incentive, with these full pictures, we are today the most competitive, let's say, company for this field. Second part, what you said also, Andreas, and also Maximilian, that we should go to tier 2. Yes, right. This is today where still the add value. First important thing that's going, let's say, down in the, let's say, supply chain and also chain of value means more add value and more competitivity, let's say, for our product as tier 1. But also it's opportunity for the tier 2 to make also money, to be honest, because again, the infrastructure will allow them to produce with less cost and be able to deliver the local market and also to export minimum for Europe without any problem. Even I cannot say also that we can also export to United States and so on, because we have also free trade with the United States. And Morocco can be also considered as a platform to deliver neither Europe or even United States and even Africa in the future, as we have also good relationship and good introduction in African market. Coming back to, let's say, to my business, to, let's say, harness business, we are still seeing a lot of opportunity to be, let's say, to be taken in Morocco. Actually, is not only a matter, as I said, of competitivity. Today we are competitive, but we are also working in automatization and all improvements in terms of process in order to continue being, let's say, competitive, and also to project ourselves for the next 10, 15 years and continue our leadership on this, let's say, on all those activities concerning automotive industry. I don't know if you have any questions.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Adil, for the time being. I think there will be other questions and topics to discuss with you, but thanks so much. Sharing your experience over the years, and indeed Sumitomo Bordnetz is an example of a German automotive investment in Morocco, and still growing quickly, and we wish you all success with your further operations in Tanger, and will accompany this process. I would like to give back to
Andreas. I have just to say small, let's say, anecdote happened to me. We received 2 years ago Daimler, Mercedes, and till now we are not. It's not Mercedes. It's not in our panel, but there was prospecting to see if there is any possibility to have collaboration, and they come to Morocco and they come to Tangier, to our plant. It was a quite big delegation with different, let's say, perspective from quality, development, purchasing, sales, and everything. And when they come, what was the feedback from them? When they see first our plant, their message was that they was thinking that they are in Germany, besides to have blonde people with blue eyes, because of the organization, because of the cleanness of the plant, because of the, let's say, discipline of people, because of the performance, they was positively surprised. And for them, Morocco was not on the radar, and now we are in the radar. Thank you.
Thank you so much also for that anecdote, Adil. So it's good to go back to Germany, to Friedemann Färber, to Bad Berleburg for the Stahlschmidt Cable Systems Group. Friedemann Färber, your company decided a few months or years ago to invest in Morocco. You're currently building a production plant also in Tanger, and we would be very interesting to hear from you. What's the background of your company? Why did you decide to go into Morocco, and what are your experiences so far? Friedemann Färber.
Good morning, and thank you, Andreas, for this introduction, and to all the other speakers. So, SCS Cable System is a producer of Bowden cable for automotive and industry applications. So what do? We have the components that are assembled and put into a car as a system in order to open a trunk or to open a door, or for example to release your backrest. These are all applications, and the engine hub and all these applications are still mechanical parts that are also safety relevant. Imagine the car is burning, the battery is off, and you have to open the car. That has to be a mechanical part, and therefore I think it's not known to everybody. Therefore, there are a lot of Bowden cable applications in cars. Besides that, we are producing also on a high quality for sanitary applications for example, for opening the bath tube, you turn a handle and the plug is getting up and the water is running out. So that's all Bowden cable as well, and all 100% produced by SCS. So to come back to your question, why did we discuss about Morocco and finally decide to invest? It's strongly related to our product. If you imagine a Bowden cable is a loose part that is very flexible, that is very difficult to fix in a stable way. That means if you have to assemble this part into a system, it's almost not possible to automate. That means, in the consequence, you have to employ a lot of people for assembly process. And in this point, personal costs gets more and more important. And as you all know, in the automotive industry, there is the expectation of a price decrease of 2 to 3% at least every year. Means continuously cost reductions. And if you look on the other side in Eastern Europe and in Central Europe about the price development or the wage costs, the development, this does not fit. On the one hand side, the product has to get more and more inexpensive, and the other side, the personal costs get more and more expensive. So some months or some years already ago, we started a strategic new assessment, and we took into consideration a lot of countries. Important for us was, of course, proximity to Europe, because our core market is Europe, but also, of course, political stability and good infrastructure, or to cut a long story short, low entry barriers for a small company. And at the end, we are a mid-size, rather small company, so we have not the infrastructure and the resources to make a big investigation and to send a whole team for years into a new location. So these were very important factors for our decision. And when I first went to Morocco for an information trip, that was in February last year, so just 1 month before the lockdown, lucky coincidence. I was really amazed what I saw there. And Adil, you mentioned it also very, very good. I think the infrastructure is almost on a European level, I would say. And when I came into the plants, and I had the luck to visit some plants in Morocco, I was rather surprised about how advanced the infrastructure, the 5S, and the whole training and the level of employees is already in Morocco. So at the end, as for all companies, for us, one of the most important factors are the people that are working in the company. And for that was one of the most important decision maker for me to see the skill level, but also the motivation of the people there. That is something I really don't see too often, to see such motivated people as I found in Morocco. And another sign that proves this kind of motivation is how fast things go on. In our case, we did the final investment decision for the company in December 2020. End of January this year, the architecture for the building was already done. In June, the production hall was erected and established. And last month in August, also we moved into our administration building. So serious delivery is to ramp up right now, and we will ship out the first parts as of October. So imagine that schedule. I would say that is not the standard. That is really a very, very positive sign. And how does this come? Of course, a major part is the organization in Morocco. We have this already mentioned free trade zones. The free trade zones are managed very well. You have a so-called one-stop system. So you go there, you have one person to talk to. He takes care about all the issues, from founding a company over organizing the building, the land. It's really, for us, again, as a not too big company, the best way to access another company. Talking about people, of course, that is especially in Eastern Europe an issue, that you have more working places than possible employees. So that's also one of the reasons, in my point of view, that wages rise very drastically. I cannot see this situation in Morocco. Actually, we see a very good access to the working market, so to get enough people, also qualified people and motivated people, and that is also for our ramp up very important. And just to give you an impression, within the next 4 to 5 years, we want to create more than 1,000 jobs in Tanger, and we are very positive that this plan will be successful. And so I'm happy to enter Morocco. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Friedemann Färber. Also very interesting to hear from a newcomer perspective, the kind of like positive experiences you made on your journey to Morocco from the investment destination to where you are now. Last but not least, I would like to hand over to Usama Hafsi. Usama Hafsi, FEV Engineering, is also a relative newcomer. And what is very interesting, we spoke earlier about the inclusion of tier 2 suppliers. We spoke a bit about the Moroccan automotive ecosystem. And it's interesting to see that the Moroccan automotive sector develops itself further into engineering, into research and development, also with the participation of German companies. And this is where you as FEV Engineering, you come from. And this is why also your engagement with Morocco, from my perspective, is very interesting also to share and discuss. You are currently in Casablanca, more or less with me, but some kilometers away in Casa Nearshore in your office. So I would like you to give us your ideas on the activities of FEV Engineering in Morocco.
Okay, thank you, Andreas, for the introduction. Hi, everybody. Talking about FEV, FEV is an engineering company, German engineering company, which is working on the development of complete vehicle, of powertrains, everything that has to that touch the vehicle, but also now in other new fields, energy. Talking about Morocco, our involvement in Morocco, it comes back to 2017. Yeah, we started our journey in Morocco, thinking about what to do in Morocco, what is possible to do for an engineering company here. It all started with the vision, I think, of Morocco in order to develop the car industry, not only in terms of production, but also developing more added value and coming at the end to develop also the R&D and the development here in Morocco. So we started our journey with the creation of the company in 2018 with a small desk here in Casablanca. From the beginning, our goal was to address the local market, because there were some new development in Morocco, new R&D test center from Stellantis. This was the key for the start of everything here in terms of development, the engagement of Stellantis here in Morocco. So of course, from our side, we follow our customers, but also think about widening our work for all our customers in the world. So it started like that with the small desk, and soon we were able to hire many engineers to address, of course, the local market, but also be a reference for a best cost country for our group. And after that, soon in 2018 again, we started to think about bigger, to think about really a big development center. I can confess that is coming also from the vision of Morocco, because Morocco was pushing in order to create a test center to address the industry here, but also to bring other companies to invest in Morocco. So we are investing in a test center in the region of Horida. So it's Ouazzam, the city. It's a joint test center between us and UTAC, which is a French company, which is also one of the biggest company in Europe in terms of homologation of vehicles. So we decided to join our forces to create this test center. It's a test center which is a big test center. It's 450 hectares with test tracks, 23 kilometers different test tracks, with test benches for powertrain, for engine development, and also for hybrid electric, and also vehicle test bench, vehicle test benches. So it's really a big test center. It is in construction at the moment. It is not. It will start in the end of the year with the first test tracks. Then in 2022, in the first semester of 2022, one after the others, the test tracks were open, but also the testing equipment. So with this test center, our vision is really to address the Moroccan market, like I said, with Stellantis, which is willing to develop more and more its development in Morocco. We see also interesting messages from Renault, which is installed also in Morocco, that are also interested to do more and more tests in Morocco. Because they are also increasing the parts of the vehicle which is done in Morocco, and it's normal that they think about this. Yeah, but also we are addressing the FEV North Europe GmbH, which is in Germany. When we have a really turnkey projects. More and more we are thinking about doing parts of the business in Morocco because of this test center, but also the skills of the people that we are developing more and more. Of course, in the beginning, there are good skilled engineers in Morocco. Of course, for the moment, it's a new topic, and we have to invest in terms of training. But we see that a lot of motivation, like my colleague said before, a lot more of motivation. They are dedicated and they want to learn. And we are really confident about the future about that. Yeah? And we are confident that Morocco in some years it will be able to have a good research and development skills, and be able to address not only the local market but also the companies in Europe for all the fields that we are doing. Yeah, so we are talking here about development, engine development. We are talking about vehicle development and testing, ADAS development, everything what has to do with also with electrification. So we see big here in Morocco. So
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Usama Hafsi. It's a very exciting perspective, and if I'm not mistaken, the test center of FEV and UTAC and Ouazzam is the first of its kind on the African continent. And this kind of like confirms the perspective of Morocco of being able to develop the automotive industry further into engineering and research and development. And we do already also in the steering committee Automotive at the chamber, we do have companies that actually offer offshoring engineering facilities in Morocco for German OEMs in Germany, thanks to the high quality also of labor and education in Morocco. I would at this stage just confirm back to production if there's any questions that came from the audience or not, because other than that, we do still have some 5 minutes before we need to close, very much on time. If this is not the case, I would I would like to give one quick shot to each of the company representatives before we close. Maybe to Adil Semrich, you spoke about your experiences the last 20 years. What is your kind of cooperation with local authorities and government? You mentioned it briefly, but how supportive is government to all what you are doing? What's your experience?
I will talk about my last experience. I had met 2 days ago the Minister of Industry, just 1 day before election. And I request a meeting with him 3 days before. I think it is something could not happen in other countries. This is one. Second thing, we met also different level of authority. And I had, for this new project, I have today two region fighting. And who is negotiating directly with us is the highest position of the region, is the wali. Wali for you is, I would say, is the representative of the king for a region, means is the highest position. And those people, they are fighting to get the business in their region. And my message is, we are not only supportive, they are really want to help us to be implemented in their perspective region, and they're even fighting with different incentive and different, let's say, helps for the invest to convince the investor to be installed in the region. This is the level we have today. It's no more looking for someone to help. No, it's the authority who look for you to help you. I think the message is.
Thank you very much. It came through. Thank you very much, Adil. Friedemann Färber, in a similar direction, you also briefly mentioned currently in your investment, you are going into you're building your plant in Tanger Automotive City, which is being managed by Tanger Med Authority. So how was your experience? You briefly mentioned it, but kind of like as a German company approaching Tanger Med, how did you feel accommodated in this process?
Yeah, again, back to last year when I first met the people from the authority of the Tanger Med, it was from the beginning very structured and very well organized. So you get an overview about all the mechanism, about what are possibilities to support, what are the frame conditions, how should you go on. So you get a kind of guideline at the very beginning that, especially for a smaller company, that helps a lot. And during the whole process, we always have persons to talk to. So there is never the situation that you feel alone, what is extremely helpful in a foreign country. And so again, that whole structure seemed to be developed in a very good way, in a very structured way. And so also for the hopefully structured German companies, a very good fit. Yeah.
Thank you very much. To Usama Hafsi, you quickly mentioned in your presentation energy solutions for cars, maybe electromobility or hydrogen. So what is your kind of perspective you see for Morocco in this regard? Are you actually preparing activities at the test center in this specific field? What is your take on this?
So, yeah, talking about energy, yes, of course, we are taking about next phases. Yeah, for the moment, nothing is done, but we are seeing that, for example, in the economy of hydrogen, Morocco has a good position. In term, we all know in terms of production of energy from renewable, Morocco has a leading position. And now with the economy of hydrogen, creation of green hydrogen, it's something where we see that Morocco has a lot of capabilities. And with this hydrogen production, We are thinking about, we can think about the testing of hydrogen engines, about fuel cells, about some topics like this. Yeah, so it's something that we have in focus, and we think that Morocco in the next future is able to compete on this kind of solutions, energy solutions. Yes.
Super, thank you very much. And then I would like to come to an end of this, I think, very interesting and very encouraging sessions from all the perspectives we hear. I think it's very interesting to learn that Morocco is a competitive production site for German automotive companies, but not only competitive in terms of price competitiveness, but also when it comes to the quality of labor and the quality of production processes. We highlighted the fact that, like for instance, Sumitomo Bordnetze is a global or a regional competence center. And when it comes to benchmarking, your performance is among the best in the world. It's interesting to see that also in terms of engineering and research and development, Morocco is able to go the next step also together with German companies to not only stand still with what has already been achieved, but to be able to develop the automotive sector further in terms of engineering and research and development. And this is something which is also very encouraging. We are very happy to continue to cooperate with the companies. We are very interested as a German Chamber of Commerce and Industry in Morocco to continue to cooperate with GIZ to assist German companies to overcome challenges that might exist, to assist German companies to be able to fulfill the needs that they have in terms of education and training. I think this is something which is very important and will continue to be a topic in the steering committee automotive of the German Chamber. We already have about 30 companies in the steering committee. This already shows like the strong presence of German companies in the market. And we are very happy to assist all of those who are interested to join us in Morocco to be able to do so in an efficient way. I would like to thank VDA, the German Automotive Association, very much for the cooperation and for giving us this opportunity to present the business case of Morocco in the framework of the IAA mobility. I would like to thank very much GIZ and specifically Jan Freb for your contribution, for your cooperation, and the cooperation we envisage in the future. As well, obviously, ITCL, I think, and that's also something we already work together, the identification of potential tier 2 suppliers in Moroccan industries to join forces with German companies to build German-Moroccan partnerships in the automotive industry is a very relevant thing to do. And last but not least, to the company representatives, Friedemann Färber, Adil Semrich, and Usama Hafsi. It was very interesting and encouraging to hear from you, your personal experiences, the experiences of your companies in Morocco. We wish you all success for the future business that you envisage and the projects you presented today. And with this, I would like to close. Thank you very much to everybody involved and have a good day still. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you.